Hello race fans, and welcome back to the RWC. It's race number 3 of season 2, and we are here in Brazil for, well, as I just mentioned, the 3rd round of season 2. It's shaping up to be a good one. Qualifying went very nicely. The weather during qualifying was absolutely amazing, allowing for some really quick times. Now, with that being said, the qualifying is very similar to the first 2 races so far. As I've mentioned last race, it's very clear who the top brands this season are and what the top engines are. So obviously the bigger engine cars are up front as usual, but at least the nice thing here in Brazil is that there is a very technical portion to this track, so it does still allow for the smaller engine teams to at least be competitive, because obviously they will excel in that area due to handling. Qualifying on pole position yet again, though, proving that their speed is second to none, however, is Chevy with their driver Wyatt's Garage. Wyatt's been doing a really good job piloting that new C8 race car. However, the strategy is just not quite there yet for Chevy. They absolutely dominated the first 2 races of this season so far, controlling a vast majority of lead laps, both in Watkins Glen and Daytona. Unfortunately, Watkins Glen, he was unable to capture any points at all, though, due to Chevy's poor strategy. Daytona, they were a little bit better. He was able to finish amongst the top 10, and he also got an extra point for clocking the fastest lap of the entire race. So speed, again, is definitely no question over there at Chevy. It is more so their decision making. Another person to keep an eye on is definitely Isidro, taking the lead in the points of this championship so far, just in 2 races, getting a victory in Watkins Glen and getting a podium at Daytona. So he'll definitely be one to keep an eye on this race to see if he'll be able to extend his lead at all, or if someone else will take the lead after today. So I hope you got your snacks, I hope you got your drinks, because it's time to go racing. On pole position, as I mentioned, Wyatt's Garage with Chevy will lead the pack into turn number 1, lap 1 out of 10. Let's get racing. The weather is unfortunately a little bit rougher this time around for the actual race, but nothing to be too concerned of, just a couple of clouds. As the entire field start to get packed up now going into turn 1 as we slowly go down the field, currently looking at Batter and that Genesis race car. That car's been surprisingly decent so far in these 2 races, definitely on the higher end of the rookie list, especially when it comes to the lower displacement cars, as he's actually trying to look to overtake Gao in the Ferrari, going on the outside. Nope, he switches back inside, just follows him through. Incredible driving by the rookie, as the both of them actually looking to get into a scrap, but kudos Khalid, the veteran in the BMW. Gao will go on the outside. He actually makes it stick. They're side by side, still side by side. Kudos Khalid trying to take advantage of the inside line. He will hold on to his position for now, battling for 11th and 12th, mind you. Davi there in the back looking to pass Batter on the outside, but that doesn't work either, excuse me. As the field is slowly starting to iron out, Batter going back to fight Gao, just not giving him a break very early on in this lap 1 endeavor. However, again, it does not work, and the field will finally kind of iron itself out here on lap number 1 as we come across the front straight yet again to go on to lap number 2 now, as we now scroll down the rest of the field. Firugori and that Honda GT3 closing out the field in 20th position. Up front, as I mentioned, it's very obvious who the top dogs are here this season. Wyatt's Garage, Jensen, Gills, and Isidro, first, second, and third, and fourth, in that order. Besnard closing out the top 5. Rice right behind him in 6th. Project G in 7th. Fairly 8th. Mystics 9th. Ramsey closing out the top 10. But Kudos Khalid is looking to change that fact as he was on the inside there as they went into that turn. Jensen also looking to try and change who is in first place, but Wyatt's Garage does a nice job of closing that door for the time being. We'll see if Jensen will re-attack here momentarily. Jensen being the extremely aggressive rookie so far, always at the front, always looming over first place. He definitely has a very strong chance of being at the top this season, perhaps even being the new champion. We'll see. Audi definitely has a very good car and driver, it seems, in their hands. So far, Audi's strategy doesn't seem to be too far off the mark. So they definitely have all the ingredients to reign supreme at the end of the season. Going through the rest of the grid now, surprisingly spaced out already, just 3 laps in. No real battles going on, but Kudos Khalid making me eat my words as he goes in the inside in turn number 1. Is the cameraman not going to follow that? Apparently not. The rest of the field pretty much unchanged. Did Kudos Khalid get that pass? There's no way to tell at the moment as the cameraman is slowly going back up the grid order, I believe. Can someone please notify him to switch drivers? Unfortunately, our bad coordination continuing from Daytona. We were not quite on the same page on Daytona, and it appears we are still, unfortunately, not on the same page. Still trying to see if Kudos Khalid ever got that pass. We are still, unfortunately, too far down the order to see him. Currently looking at Ramos in P18, as the lower half of the grid seems to be very peaceful. Not a lot going on here at the bottom of the grid. A lot of the cars single file, no battles currently going on. Barth trying to take a peek at Davi, but that will be unfruitful as Davi is able to defend his position. Barth will fall back a little bit. Hidalgo, looks like Casanova wants to go on the inside of Ramos. We'll see if he'll be able to. No, he will not. Barth looking to make another move on Davi, however. Barth seriously trying to get something going for him and Team Jaguar, and it seems that he will not. Davi will close the door again. Very nice defensive driving by Davi for Team Nissan, defending the 15th position. Doesn't seem like anything else is going on at the moment. Lap 4 of 10. We're already almost halfway through this race, and I just realized Jensen actually finally made his pass happen. I'm not sure how long ago that Jensen and White's Garage actually going back and forth, it seems, on that grid list. Their names interchanging, so they are currently having a battle that we are unfortunately not watching. So if anybody would like to send an application to be our new camera operator, we may be accepting some soon. Jensen apparently seems to have control of that first place position now, as their names are no longer switching between each other. So I think it's safe to say that Jensen is your new pole sitter, while Wyatt's Garage is in second. Gills still holding on to that podium third as more of the grid passes here single file. We're going to go on board with Perez here as we come back across the front straight. Perez so far having a much cleaner race in comparison to his first and second at Watkins Glen and Daytona. Unfortunately, him being involved with wrecks in both races, DNFing in the first, however in the second one somehow managing to hold on to a 6th or 7th place finish, if I remember correctly. However, unfortunately, him and Team Dodge themselves have not been in a very good light very on in this season, so hopefully he can have a few more cleaner races, kind of pull himself up out of the mud again as we transition to Davi now. Riding on board with Davi as there's a relatively decent sized gap between him and Perez as he's trying to close said gap, as he's now up to 13th position. So not too bad, having a pretty stable drive, slowly making his way up the field. We'll see how far up the field exactly he can get up to. Slight changes as Batter and Kudos Khalid, I forgot to mention, enter the pits in lap 4. So taking a very early pit stop for the two of them. Not sure the reasoning, but they did it, and they are now out, closing out the field in 19th to 20th position. As you see there, Jensen is indeed in the lead. Gills, though, actually moving up to 2nd now, overtaking Wyatt's Garage. So Wyatt's Garage now will close out the podium in 3rd. Isidro holding his own in 4th place, kind of just chilling. Rice closing out the top 5 now in 5th, Project G in 6th, Fairley in 7th, Mystics 8th, so pretty much everyone there just moving up 1 position respectively. So 6th, 7th, and 8th will go to them. Ramsey at 9th, and Gao now closing out the top 10 with the rest of the field pretty much in the same order now after Batter and Kudos Khalid's pit stop. So a very tame race in comparison to our 1st and 2nd race. Oh, Davi was looking on the outside of Barth, trying to take his position back in regards to Barth. Unfortunately, he is unsuccessful and he will fall back behind Barth. But man, he closed that distance very quickly. I can only assume he did it under braking, perhaps. But as I was saying, this race definitely much calmer in comparison to our 1st and 2nd race. Unfortunately, our 1st and 2nd race having quite a few incidences, quite a few accidents and crashes, but over here in Brazil, it appears to be much more streamlined, much more cleaner, which, I mean, to some, I'm not complaining, but I know some people enjoy seeing all of the chaos and drama unfold on track, but it just simply doesn't seem like this is going to be one of those races. So, 4 laps to go here in Brazil. Going back to the front, Jensen still with a respectable lead. However, Gills is right on his tail, 1st and 2nd. Wyatt's Garage still hold. Gills going on the inside, actually, of Jensen to take the lead. Did not expect to see that happen. Very nicely done by Gills, honestly. That was a veteran level move. Well, not a veteran level move, but the way he executed it looked as if he's been doing this for a very long time. But anyway, so yeah, Gills, Team Lamborghini now in the lead with 3 laps to go. Jensen, we'll see if he retaliates. It almost looks like as if Jensen kind of got just spooked, as Gills is actually making a tiny gap here, about the same that Gills was until he made that late braking move. But no, Gills is definitely creating more of a gap here, especially now that we're heading back towards the main straight. We'll see if Gills walks away essentially from Jensen, because he is definitely falling back. Oh yeah, no, that gap is definitely becoming larger as they come across the line onto the 8th lap. This race is very close to an end. Wyatt's Garage coming into the pits on lap 8, essentially getting a last set of tires and probably some fuel. Isidro will stay out, however, so he will now hop onto the podium for now in 3rd place. We'll see if he'll hold on to it, because now that I think about it, I do not believe that Gills, Jensen, or Isidro for that matter, have made a pit stop so far this race. And as y'all know, every team has to make at least 1 pit stop throughout the race. in order to not be disqualified or to lose any points or anything of that matter. Project G, Fairley, Ramsey, Gao, Barth, Hidalgo, and Rice now make up your new top 10 with other drivers and teams pitting. So that definitely shook up the order there, as not everyone. Whoa! Ramos with the extremely late braking. That actually got me scared for a second. I thought he was about to just ram right into Hidalgo there. Maybe under some faulty brakes, but thankfully that does not happen. Casanova looking to go around Ramos on the outside. I was about to say it looked like he made it stick. They were side by side, but actually no. Ramos now is attacking Hidalgo on the inside, now outside, going around that series of corners there. He will complete the move for 10th place, actually. So Ramos gets into the top 10. Very nicely done by him. Hidalgo will fall down outside of the points, which I do not believe Hidalgo has actually gotten any points yet so far this season, so that's actually quite unfortunate for him. I may need to fact check that, however. Wyatt's Garage rejoins the field in 14th position. We'll see if he'll be able to get any free positions to see if any other teams will pit on this lap. We'll see how far back up the order he can go, going back down the rest of the field, however, and it is drastically different. Mystics, Davi, Perez now closing out the field in 20th position. So yeah, pit stops are making a world of difference right now, with teams undercutting each other and gaining free positions. Speaking of free positions, Gills still continuing to walk away slightly with this first place lead with only 2 laps to go. Jensen in second, surprisingly with the fastest lap of the race so far. However, in second place, and unsure if he will actually be able to get the lead back, as it just doesn't look like it. Looks like Jensen is on a completely different pace from Gil. Gil is just in a whole world of his own. So we'll see if Lamborghini will make him pit, as they have done some questionable pit timing before. But we'll see. He's coming around the corner now into the final straight. And yes, actually, Lamborghini will make him pit, which is unbelievable. So Jensen is pitting as well, actually. Okay, so Jensen has not pitted. So I'm assuming Isidro, yes, he will go in as well. This is huge. Rice. What will Rice do? Rice will stay out. Team Toyota might have the chance to steal the win here. This would be the biggest upset so far this season. He gets a couple positions already, but will he be able to beat Gills out of the pits? He'll have fresh tires and fresh gas, so it will definitely be a drastic difference in performance. It's going to be close. He almost undercuts Lamborghini, but unfortunately he doesn't. Lamborghini will be able to get out just in front of Rice, but it is the most technical part of the track. Will Toyota be able to stick with him, as that Toyota does notably handle much better than that Lamborghini? Let's see. Toyota on some very old tires by this point, though. Will he have the grip to compete with Lamborghini? It's close. He closes the gap tremendously under braking. He looks on the inside, but just not quite enough, so he'll have to back out. We'll see if he'll go for it again. They're getting really close to the end here. Toyota doesn't have much chance left if they're gonna go for this move. I can just imagine that Toyota just barely hanging on to the line of grip, and it seems like it's not going to be enough, as Gills actually forms a little bit of a gap again, but Toyota trying to close it under braking again. He does, but now they're back on the front straight, and that Lamborghini proving it's a powerhouse of an engine, and they will pull away easily. Gills will win here in Brazil. Congratulations to Gills and Team Lamborghini. Toyota putting up a hell of a fight and undercutting a lot of teams They will finish second on the podium. Jensen will close it out in third. What a way to finish. Probably the most exciting thing this entire race, honestly, there at the end. But as I said, Jensen with Team Audi will close out the podium in third. Gao will finish fourth. Wyatt's Garage will get a top 5. Isidro will finish sixth. So probably not where Mercedes wanted to be, especially after their strong start, but at least they will still get some points for this race. Besnard will finish in 7th. Bader will finish in 8th. Casanova finishing in 9th, which I believe is his first points of the season, if I am not mistaken. Kudos Khalid closing out the top 10. Mystics finishing in 11th. Ramsey 12th. Davi in 13th. Project G 14th. Bart 15th. Perez 16th. Fairley 17th. Hidalgo 18th. Ramos 19th. And Ferragori in 20th.